The diagram shows a right-angled triangle. All the measurements are in centimetres, and we're told that the area of the triangle is 27.5 centimetres squared. And we need to work out the length of the shorter side of the triangle, showing all of our working. Now you may recall that the area of a triangle is the base times by height divided by 2. So if we have a look at our triangle, we've got one length of x minus 2 and one length of x plus 4. So to work out the area, we're going to multiply those together and divide it by 2. Now I'm going to write it as half multiplied by, because that's the same as dividing something by 2. And that's multiplied by x minus 2 multiplied by x plus 4. If we look back at the question, we're told that the area of the triangle is 27.5 centimetres squared. So I can say this is equal to 27.5. Now we've got an equation we can solve to find out the value for x. Okay, first thing I don't really like this half here. So what I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 2. So if I do that, we're going to have 2 times over here and then multiply by 2 here. You see what can now happen is we can cancel these 2's. So on the left hand side, we're just going to be left with x minus 2, x plus 4, equaling 27.5 multiplied by 2, which is 55. We're now going to expand these brackets. So to do that, we need to multiply every term by every other term. So I'm first going to multiply the first terms together. So x times x gives us x squared. Now I'm going to multiply the outside terms together. So x and positive 4, giving us 4x. Now the inside terms, so minus 2 and x, which gives us minus 2x. And lastly, the last terms here, so minus 2 and 4, giving us minus 8. And that's still equaling 55. So I'm going to tidy this up. So I'm going to have x squared still. But I'm going to do 4x minus 2x, which gives us 2x. I'm going to have the minus 8 here and the 55. And next, I'm going to subtract 55 from both sides, giving us x squared plus 2x. Minus 8 minus 55, which is minus 63. And that's going to equal 0. So what we've now got is a quadratic equation that we can solve. So you could use any method you want to solve this. You could use the quadratic formula, complete the square, or what I'm going to do is factorise it. So essentially when you're factorising something, you're taking something from this form and putting it into brackets. So let's think about what the first terms in the brackets need to be. Well, they're just going to be x's here. So if we look, we've got an x squared here. So it's going to be x multiplied by x to get our x squared. Okay, so we now need to think about these terms here. And the way to do this, we need to find numbers that multiply together to get the last term here, so minus 63, and add together to get 2. This takes a little bit of thought, but after thinking for a while, we should find minus 7 and 9. So if we have minus 7 multiplied by 9, that gets minus 63. And minus 7 plus 9 gives us 2. So for our term over here, we're going to put the minus 7, and over here the plus 9. So now lastly, we're going to solve this to work out what x is. When we've got a product, so something multiplied by something else equaling 0, we know that at least one of these brackets must equal 0. Okay, assuming it's this bracket here, we say, okay, let's think that x minus 7 is 0. If we add 7 to both sides, we see, okay, in that case, the value of x would be 7. Okay, if this was the bracket that was 0, we'd have x plus 9 equals 0. So x equals minus 9. So our answer is that x could equal 7, or it could equal minus 9. So now we've worked that out, we need to answer the question. We need to work out the length of the shortest side of the triangle. Let's think about this. If x was minus 9, this side will be minus 9 minus 2, giving us a length of minus 11. We can't have a length that's negative, so we know this value can't be right. So we know that it must be x equals 7. Therefore, I can work out what the actual length of the sides are, because I'm going to do 7 plus 4 for this one, which is 11 centimetres. And here we've got 7 minus 2, which equals 5 centimetres. And which one out of these is shorter? Well, it's clearly 5 centimetres is less than 11 centimetres. So our final answer for the length of the shortest side is 5 centimetres. We got our first mark for correctly using this. So multiplying a half and the length of both the sides. We got our second mark for expanding out the brackets like this and creating an equation that we can solve. We get our third mark by then using some sort of method to solve it. And our final mark for getting the correct answer of 5 centimetres.